Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Big Mike Talks. And today I bring you not one, not two, but three predictions for this weekend in wrestling. And honestly, it's a pretty big weekend. We have Friday, Impact Wrestling Under Siege, Saturday, WWE Night of Champions, and then Sunday, AEW Double or Nothing. It's a jam-packed weekend. I am very excited for it. I hope you guys are too. And let's get into the predictions, starting with Impact Wrestling Under Siege. And this has been a pretty fun built show. And let's get into it. First match looks like it's going to be on the pre-show. It's for the Digital Media Championship as Dirty Dango takes on Joe Hendry. Dango and Hendry, last time on pay-per-view on Rebellion, teamed with Santino Marella to defeat the Design. After Sami Callihan turned on the Design. Then it was revealed a little bit later someone attacked Dango. A lot of people thought it was Callihan. Then Dango launched an investigation, interviewed a good chunk of the roster until it was revealed that Dango was missing a little bit of chest hair as it was found at the scene of the crime. So it does look like Dango has turned into public enemy number one. I don't see Joe Hendry losing this title anytime soon. As much as I've liked Dango, this is Hendry's match to lose. I'm going with the local hero himself, Joe Hendry. Next up, we got more tag team title. We got some tag team action players as the ABC Ace and Bay Connection defend their Impact Tag Team Champions against a return and a debuting superstar in the subculture. That's Mark Andrews, who I believe was a former X Division champion. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Flash Morgan Webster. These two guys have teamed in NXT UK. That's where this team started. And now it looks like the act is continuing here on Impact. I'm going to say this. Impact's tag division is a little bit thin. This is why they've been bringing in guys like TMDK, Aussie Open, etc. However, I do not see Ace and Bay losing these tag team titles yet. But I do think there's going to be some shenanigans. Like maybe other members of Bullet Club show up. We'll see. Next up, making his in-ring return, we have Nick Aldis taking on Kenny King. Aldis has been in the NWA for a good couple years. Apparently this is just a trial basis for Impact for his return, as he is a former Impact World Champion. I think eventually he's going to be built to be the next challenger for Macklin. No offense to King. I like Kenny King as much as the next guy, but I don't think he is winning here unless his protege gets involved, which maybe could happen, but I think they're going to try and build Aldis as the next guy. So your winner, Nick Aldis. Next up, in her second match in Impact Wrestling, you have Trinity, formerly known as Naomi, taking on Giselle Shaw. Recently, Jay Vidal took a picture with Trinity on her debut match, which got Jay in trouble with Shaw. Trinity then called out Shaw, who accepted her challenge for this match. There's no way Trinity's losing, especially if she's going to be here a bit longer term. So I think eventually we're going to see her with the Knockouts title. Next up, we got 6-man tag team match playa as the Design, that's Diener, Angels, and Big Con himself, take on Rich Swann, Sami Callihan, and a mystery partner. Ooh. There's a lot of options for this mystery partner. A lot of people are saying either of the former OVE members, Ohio versus Everything, which I did enjoy that stable. I could see maybe, if he's up for it, Joe Doring making a return. But more than likely it's going to be either Madman Fulton or one of the tag team members of OVE. So I think Swann, Callihan, and the other dude get the win here, and we move on. Next up, we got a 6-way match to crown a new number 1 contender for the World Heavyweight title. Participants, we have Alex Shelley, Eddie Edwards, Frankie Kazarian, Jonathan Gresham, Moose, and Yuya Uemura. All these guys have a great chance to be the next champion. I'm going to go with Jonathan Gresham here. I feel like out of the guys on this roster, he hasn't gotten a shot at the world title yet. He and Mike Bailey have had shots at the tag titles and the X Division title. I think it's time to push Gresham up the card a little bit. Because honestly, I love Gresham. He's one of my favorites on the roster. Next up, we have the X Division title on the line as Trey Miguel defends against Chris Sabin. Now, on a recent episode of Impact, Trey Miguel has said he doesn't get respect as champion, and then Chris Sabin comes out, gets in his face, which did set up this match. As much as I want to say it's not quite time to dethrone Trey, I think Chris Sabin as a 9-time X Division champion sounds really good. And it sets up for some more interesting challengers, I believe. So I think Chris Sabin is going to win. Next up, a very interesting match. It is a last chance match for the Knockouts title, as Deonna Purrazzo defends against Jordynne Grace. And if Grace loses, she can never challenge for the Knockouts title again as long as Purrazzo has the title. I do believe I remember seeing Grace's Impact contract is expiring pretty soon. So, this is a tough one for me to call because I like both these wrestlers. But I do think Deonna Purrazzo is going to retain. She just won the title pretty recently, so it's not quite time to dethrone her yet. I think that's going to be up to Trinity, which could go down at Slammiversary. And finally, our main event for Under Siege, the Impact World Heavyweight title on the line in a no DQ match as Steve Maclin defends against PCO. And honestly, it's been a long time coming for PCO to get a world title shot. It's sad it's under these circumstances with Josh Alexander out hurt. I'm going to say there's going to be a ton of shenanigans in this match. Maclin has recently formed an alliance with Champagne Singh and Muhammad Ali Shira. So I believe they're going to get involved. So I think Maclin is going to retain under screwy circumstances. So that's that for Under Siege. Next up, we got the Saturday show in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. We have Night of Champions from WWE. And honestly, it looks like a pretty dang stacked card. And here we go. First match up. or at least I think it's going to be the first matchup. We got Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. Now, Trish and Becky have been in a bit of a feud. Trish wanting a little bit more respect for starting the women's division on the right path during all the BS other women went through in that time. And then, Becky saying, "Oh, I've had a career you would love, and I would have nightmares about the stuff you would do, including barking like a dog," which I can't believe they brought out that segment. That's a deep cut. I believe the plan for this match is to have it again at SummerSlam. So I believe something is going to go down where Trish Stratus gets the victory here. And then we have the rematch over at SummerSlam. Next up, a very interesting match for the SmackDown Women's title. We have Rhea Ripley versus Natalya. I like Natalya as much as the next person, but this is not the level of competitors that Rhea Ripley should really be facing. So I think Rhea Ripley is going to win here. Next up, the other side, we got the Raw Women's Championship on the line, and it's a WrestleMania rematch. Bianca Belair defends against Asuka. I have heard rumblings about a Bianca Belair heel turn recently, so I don't think that starts here, but I don't think she's going to lose the title here yet. I think eventually she will, but not quite yet. So Bianca retains. Next up, a bit of an interesting matchup. We got the Intercontinental title on the line as Gunther defends against Mustafa Ali, which very surprising considering maybe a year ago he asked for his release. Now he's in the Intercontinental title scene. And sorry to say this, but Gunther ain't losing anytime soon. Like, he has been a force, he's been dominant, and he's probably going to retain the title here. And then next up, the Nightmare Scenario. The undisputed tag team titles are on the line as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn defend against not the Usos, but Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. That's right, Roman is being lined up to add more titles to his repertoire. This, I feel like this ends one of two ways. One, Roman Reigns just straight up wins and he takes the tag titles. Or the Usos get involved. Maybe not directly, but maybe they stand on the ramp and maybe cost Solo. Because I believe the plan for SummerSlam is for Roman and Solo to take on the Usos. So that could be fun. So personally, I hope it's the latter. I think Owens and Zayn as tag champions have not really had gotten a little time to breathe. So I do believe Owens and Zayn are going to win, with Solo eating a pin. And that's a rarity these days, Solo eating pinfalls. So we're going to see some shenanigans in this match, and it's going to end in retention. Next up, in what is scheduled to be a singles match, we'll see if that changes by SmackDown. We have Cody Rhodes taking on Brock Lesnar. Lesnar obviously a little pissed off about the way Cody won at Backlash via the roll-up. Felt like it was cheap. Cost Cody Rhodes a shot at the new World Heavyweight title. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And he would go on to break Cody's arm. So Cody is fighting at a disadvantage. And I think that's going to come into play here. Like, I think with not taking some time off, I think that's going to cost Cody, and Brock Lesnar is going to win here, potentially setting up a rematch for SummerSlam, which maybe could be a fight bit match, maybe it could be no DQ, something like that, to really put a stamp on Cody Rhodes as a top guy. And finally, for Night of Champions, we have the crowning of a new World Heavyweight Champion as Seth Rollins takes on AJ Styles. This match could definitely be match of the weekend, and it is a little bit predictable. It's more than likely Seth is going to win because, he's a Raw guy, and this is supposedly a Raw title. So, Seth, new World Heavyweight Champion. So, that's it for Night of Champions. We now go into Sunday, AEW Double or Nothing. And we get a pretty stacked card. As first things first, we have an unsanctioned match, which probably means street fight. We have Adam Cole, baby, taking on Chris Jericho. More than likely, we're going to see some shenanigans here. I could see the JAS getting involved. And then Cole's boys getting involved. Roddy Strong. Maybe we see Kyle O'Reilly finally cleared and coming in. But overall, I see Adam Cole picking up the win. And hopefully moving on to something a bit more significant. Like maybe world title match. Fingers crossed. Next up, we have a 6-man tag team match player. As we have Ethan Page, All Ego Ethan Page, taking on, teaming with Austin and Colton Gunn, taking on the team of Isaiah Cassidy, Jeff Hardy, and Matt Hardy. And on the line in this match, if Cassidy and the Hardys win, they gain Ethan Page's contract. Which, I'm sick of this contract stuff. Like, we need something more to this. So, I'm going to say Hardy Party with the win. I don't see Ethan Page or the Guns winning anytime soon. So, there you go. Next up, for the TBS Championship, we have Jade Cargill being challenged by Taya Valkyrie. Last time they faced each other, Taya's finisher, which is technically also Jade Cargill's finisher, was banned from use. And that's how Jade Cargill won. No such stipulation for this match. It's just going to be a one-on-one. And as much as I would think Taya Valkyrie wins here, because I think Jade Cargill needs to be pushed to the main women's division. Like, she has been on top of the TBS championship division since its inception. So, but I don't think Taya is quite the person who should dethrone her. That's why I'm going to say Jade Cargill wins here. Post-match, if she's healthy, if she's good to go, we see Chris Statlander make a return and make a challenge for a future show. So, that could be fun. Next up, we got team versus team, anarchy in the arena. Basically, it's going to be a giant street fight. We got the Blackpool Combat Club, which is Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta, taking on the Elite. Fully formed, back together. That's Kenny Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks. And finally, coming back to help his friends, the Elite coming back together since the inception of All Elite Wrestling, Hangman Adam Page. And Man, there is so many ways for this thing to go. But I think Blackpool Combat Club are going to get the win. Yeah, they've had an edge over the Elite for weeks now. But I feel like if you want to get this thing a bit more over, I think you got to beat the Elite. Next up, we have a singles match for the AEW Women's Championship as Jamie Hayter takes on Toni Storm. More than likely, Toni Storm isn't coming alone, with the Outcasts on the outside waiting. However, Hayter does have her own backup with Hikaru Shida and Dr. Baker. Although they could do a turn for Dr. Baker for this matchup. But I still think Jamie Hayter is going to pick up the victory here, and we go on to something else for Miss Hayter. Next up, for the International Championship, it is the 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal. That's right. It's a Battle Royal for a title. As Orange Cassidy defends against Aaron Solo, Powerhouse Hobbs, QT Marshall, and 17 other guys for the international title. I think Cassidy's going to retain. There is no reason for him to lose this in a Battle Royal. And so, yeah, I think he's going to retain the title. And then maybe we set up his next feud for another show. Next up, in a ladder match, we have the AEW TNT title on the line as Wardlow defends against Christian Cage. This feud has been kind of interesting. Like, I kind of dig it. At first, we all thought, it's going to be Luchasaurus in getting the shot. But no, Swerve, it's Christian Cage. And, Christian brought out a ladder. Now we got a ladder match. As much as I want to see Christian Cage win this match, as interesting as Christian Cage as champion would be, I think you gotta use this match to rebuild Wardlow a little bit, because since his, squash match at last year's Double or Nothing, which is crazy to think about, he's been kind of coasting a little bit. Like, he doesn't feel as hot as he once was. So I think we're going to get a Wardlow victory here. Maybe somewhere down the line we actually get that Luchasaurus match. Fingers crossed. Next up, we got a tag team match player for the AEW tag team titles, as FTR defend against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, with Mark Briscoe being the special guest referee. Not exactly the most impartial ref, but it is what it is. I don't think Jarrett and Lethal are winning this. As funny as that would be, I think FTR get the retention. Maybe they get a little help from someone else, especially with Jarrett and Lethal having Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and now Karen Jarrett in their corner. So they're a bit outnumbered. Maybe we see Shawn Spears back them up. Maybe we see someone else. We'll see. But I don't see FTR dropping these titles right this second. And finally, our main event of the evening for the AEW World title, as MJF defends against not one, not two, but three opponents. That's right, it is the Four Pillars Fatal 4-Way match. You have Sammy Guevara, Jungle Boy Jack Perry, and Darby Allin. Now, at first, it was set up as this match for a tournament between the three other pillars not holding the title. Sammy Guevara won that via shenanigans, especially with help from MJF. So they have that friendship. Then we see a tag team match where if Jungle Boy and Darby Allin win, they get added to the match, and that happened. We then see Sammy Guevara and MJF turn on one another. Guevara said, "Oh, I'm not going to lay down for MJF." Thank goodness. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting test. This is a little tough for me to call because I like 3/4 of this match. No offense to Sammy Guevara, he's an amazing wrestler, but he's not doing it for me. So, personally, I think we're going to see MJF pull out the victory. So, yeah, that's it for the weekend. A couple of notes, like I said, considering I'm watching Under Siege on Friday, that means no SmackDown and no Rampage review. Saturday, I am actually going to a family event, so I will not be watching Night of Champions as it is broadcast. So I will either do that on Saturday during the day before Double or Nothing, or on Monday. And that would mean either Monday a review for these shows or Wednesday, because on Tuesday I do have a medical thing coming up. So we'll see how this weekend goes. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your predictions for either all three of these shows, one of these shows, whatever your match of the weekend is going to be. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.